Hallo, guten Tag, willkommen, welcome. I don't know German, but I want to introduce myself as the Potato Queen, Poppy Cooks off of the internet, and I'm going to be showing you some of my more popular, most viral potato dishes, which are actually also from my potato book. Can you see it in the background? There, potato book. Today I'm going to be showing you a German dish, which is called a Bratkartoffeln, which basically means fried potatoes. Let me get Google Translate.
Bratkartoffeln.
Bratkartoffeln. So that's what we're going to be doing today. It is weirdly, years ago when I was doing an A to Z of potatoes, the Queen Nigella actually asked me to make this one. So this is that. It's fried potatoes. It's delicious. What we're going to start off with is a red-skinned potato here, so like a Desiree or a Rooster potato, just a red-skinned one. They're a slight waxier because we're going to cook this for a little bit longer, so we want it to hold its shape a little bit more. If you use a starchier potato, they are more likely to like break down and kind of become delicious and fluffy and starchy, but they're not going to hold their shape, which is what we want. To begin with, I need a peeler. Dankeschön. Peel your potatoes. I've got 4 or 5. Why can't I count? I've got 5 potatoes here. So I'm going to boil these up. I might cut this one in half just so it's similar size to the other ones. Maybe that other big one as well, because I want them to cook all at the same time. So if you've got a bigger potato, you can see here I've got smaller ones, which are probably about. One of the signatures to Bratkartoffeln. Woo! I've just done it all. Bratkartoffeln is that actually it's slices of like rounds of potato. So I don't want to cut it into like wedges. So I'm going to cut them just so they're similar sizes so they all cook at the same time. This then goes on to the hob with a nice healthy amount of salt. Just fine salt's fine. About that much. And we're going to parboil them until they are just tender, and then we can slice them up. I've got some smoked bacon lardons here, 200 grams. They're going to go into a cold pan. Right, and the reason we put them into a cold frying pan is because we want the heat to warm up the bacon and then start melting the fat out of it, rather than going straight into a really hot pan. So we're rendering the fat out of the bacon lardons, and we are going to let it sit in its own fat and get crispy and delicious. And then that fat we will keep in the pan, and then we can fry our potatoes and onions and everything else in it. The potatoes themselves are there, they're ready. So they are cooked, but they're not like falling apart, hence why we're using the waxier kind of potato. So I'm just going to drain them, and then we can get them sliced. Be careful, they're obviously hot, but just touch them when you feel ready to touch the hot potatoes. At the minute, my hands are so cold, this is actually delightful. It is chilly in here, but this is, hot potato, lovely. We're going to cut them into, like I said, these kind of like rounds, about that thick, which I can actually measure, almost bang on a centimetre. I'm getting better with my measurements. Centimetre thick rounds is what we're going to cut these into. After a good few minutes, you'll end up with this beautiful golden bacon lardons. Look at them. And all I'm going to do is remove them from the pan, but leave the fat, as much fat as I can in the pan anyway. And just save these for later. Now, what I do have is I just diced up an onion. Just fine dice, nice and small. That goes into the fat. And we cook them for around 5 minutes-ish on a medium heat, so you lower the temperature slightly, just until they're nice and soft and translucent, but with a little bit of golden sheen. So golden. There's a lot of stages of this one. If you throw it all in, some bits get overcooked, some bits don't, so I found that the best way is just to do it separately. Once your onion's softened up a little bit, You can remove that, get that in the pan with your bacon. Or not in the pan, in the bowl with your bacon, sorry, or the plate or wherever you're putting it. Your mouth. I've eaten quite a lot of this bacon, so there's probably not as much as there should be left. Now, to speed up this process, I am going to be double teaming it on pans to cook these potatoes. But you can just do it in one and do it in batches. That's not a problem. You're going to add a little bit of butter into each pan. Yeah, just a knob. Or two. Two knobs. Touch of oil. Get that onto a medium-high heat. And then, in a single layer, add your potatoes. That's why I'm doubling up on pans, because you don't want to overlap your potatoes. We just want to get them nice and golden on both sides. So it's going to be about 2 to 3 minutes each side maybe to get that nice colour. And we're going to season them up with salt and pepper as well. If you've only got one pan, just do this in batches. So do one load and then take them out. Well, flip them over, then take them out and then do the next load. Season up your potatoes, bit of salt, bit of pep. And then we should be almost ready to flip. Do you want a bit of golden colour? Hey, beautiful. I could probably get a better piece of equipment for this. Yeah, be careful. I'm doing this with my fingers. Just do it with tongs or something. I like to live on the edge of finger burning. I can see as well the middle of my pan is colouring quicker, so I'm going to move the ones from the outside into the middle, and I'm going to move the ones from the middle to the outside. Once you've flipped your potatoes, if they need a little bit more juice, they need a little bit more greasing up, add another knob of butter or a touch of oil. Please, sir, can I have some more? One more season. Again, potatoes, they taste lovely, but they don't taste of, can't even say this, they don't taste of that much. So make sure you season all the way through cooking, because it elevates the flavour that is there. Once you have got them coloured on one side, it doesn't matter too much on both, even though the recipe says you should, but still. Leave them for another few minutes. Now that they're both nice and golden both sides, I'm going to tip them all into one with all that lovely butter. Then I'm going to get the onions and the bacon back in the pan. It's like a symphony of tasty bits and bobs. Give that a lovely little toss. Few minutes just to let that come back together and let the bacon and the onion come back to temperature. Nice and hot. And then finally, for the last little flurry of taste and flavour, we're just going to add a little bit of garlic in at the end. We don't want to add it in too early because it will burn, and we don't want that. You know, that burny, garlicky, bittery flavour. No, don't like that. We like nice floral garlic that adds that umami. Couple of cloves, just minced up or just grated, or just out of the jar, whatever you got, about a teaspoon. We're going to let that just, again, come together, let the flavours just merge into each other, into the particles, into the areas in between the crevices. Just for a couple of minutes before we serve it up. And then I can dig in. And it is as simple as that. A Bratkartoffeln, my pronunciation-ish there, fried potatoes with bacon and onion and garlic and butter. Cheers. Oh my God, that's good. As always, if you love a potato, then please do like, share, follow, subscribe, whatever it is you want to do. And you can check out the potato book as well. This is actually mine. I'm about to write on it because I keep giving away the ones that I've got greasy paws on.